My name is Buba Ali Lamido. I am the Bishop of Usasa, the Archbishop of Kaduna Province, and the Dean, Church of Nigeria, Anglican Communion. I have been Christian now for over 48 years. I received Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior in 1971, and in 1972 I was baptized. I have gone through education of all sorts. My primary school, I was in an Anglican school. I went to Kaguru Secondary School and also went to Teachers College, Katsina, where I graduated as grade 2 teacher. I've been to University of Jos, graduated with BSc Education. I have gone through Masters in Church History. I also have Doctor of Ministry. I am also a PhD graduate. I graduated in Sacred Theology, PhD, specializing in St. Augustine's theory of just war. I've been working as a priest for several years and ordained bishop in 1997 on St. Andrew's Day, 30th of November 1997. I was privileged to be at the Lambeth Conference of 1998. I rose to being an archbishop and the Dean, Church of Nigeria. I am married to Mary Lamido, and we have 3 daughters that God has blessed us with. The duties and functions of the Dean of Church of Nigeria is primarily assisting the primate and standing in the functions of the primate when the primate delegates, or constitutionally when the primate is not there, the dean acts as the primate. But being directly working under the primate of the Church of Nigeria means that the primate directs or delegates duties and functions to the dean. And some of these functions could be holding meetings or committees in the church as it is directed by the primate. Primarily, the functions of the dean are the functions of the primate only when he delegates and only in his absence. These are spelled out in the Constitution of the Church of Nigeria. I operate from my diocese. As you know, I am a diocesan, and when there is a need for me to come to the national office secretariat here, I am called upon to come and hold meetings or do a particular work, and I return to my diocese where my primary assignment is. So in terms of having physical office in the secretariat, no, I don't have a physical office in the secretariat. Oh, very effective in the sense that the office of the dean, prior to the amendment of the Constitution 3 years ago, it used to be the most senior archbishop by presentation automatically becomes the dean of the church. But with the amendment of the Constitution, I am the first elected dean of the Church of Nigeria who has served for a long time, and the period of the service of the tenure is 5 years single tenure. So in terms of effectiveness, I work hand in hand with the primate. And when the primate wants me to chair a meeting, I chair a meeting. Of course, most of the committees and decisions taken by the primate, I am consulted, and the primate calls me and we meet over certain matters and decisions are taken. So yes, in terms of effectiveness, I do. To the glory of God, when this secretariat was being built and I became dean, the supervision was handed over to me, and there were delays as to when the secretariat will be completed and finished. When it was handed over to me, I dedicated a lot of time and supervising the building until we have reached the finishing point, which is finished and dedicated. Now, these are some of the effectiveness that you will find in the office of the dean. Also, primates have sent me out of the country to lead subcommittees, to lead delegations to other churches out of the country. So all these are very important functions that make the office of the dean effective. First, I worked with Adetiloye for 2 years as bishop before he retired. I worked with Akiola for 10 years. I have also worked with Primate Oko for 10 years. And now we have Primate Ndukuba. I was made dean during the time of Oko. In terms of feedback, it has been very satisfactory. Bishops have honored me by listening to my views, and many bishops consult me on issues affecting the church to the glory of God. My relationships with bishops has been very cordial. I wouldn't say there's no one or two that the relationship is sour, but in normal circumstances, you must encounter this, you must step on toes. But on the whole, my work ethics with bishops has been very, very good. I've enjoyed working, and bishops have asked me for counsel where it is necessary, and I give. And so far, so good. Even before I became dean, I think I am a friend to all. Some of the challenges I face as dean of the church include I do not get first-hand information. I get them side by side. But you know how the leadership of the Anglican Church is. It is episcopal in nature, and decisions are taken, and you just fall into such decisions. There are some challenges of misrepresentation and perceptions and assumptions by some bishops, lay people, and so on, which they have. But as you know, when you work with public, you work with all manner of people. Some do not actually check very well their facts. They live on assumption and perception. But as a person in the office, I know that I know the reality on ground, and I know what perceptions are, and I've come to learn and live in those terms and with those terms. These are some of the challenges that I have as Dean of the Church. In the actual sense, what used to be and what we know is provost of a diocese. And a cathedral will have cathedral chapter, which is like a standing committee of the cathedral with cathedral statutes, which means there are laws and regulations, and these are held by the cathedral chapter. So provost is what we used to know. However, you know, the Anglican Church, the beauty of the Anglican Church is the autonomy of provinces. So some provinces, like in England, in US, of course in Africa and so on, they operate on dean of cathedral. Or in some cases where you have bishop who takes the position of dean of his cathedral and appoint a sub-dean for the cathedral. So this has been the thing that is operating. But I think over the years with my experience is that there are contravention of the status of the cathedral by the provost, who assume a sort of autonomy from the diocese, making the bishop as though he were just a visitor to the cathedral, and that led many bishops to take over their cathedrals as deans. But the right position for me is the provost of a cathedral. That is what is obtainable. And when you have provost of a cathedral, the status of the cathedral need to be amended in such a way that the bishop has his place in his cathedral, and he takes his proper position as bishop without any squabbles or misunderstanding with the cathedral chapter and the provost. The powers of the provost in the diocese lies in the cathedral, because he leads the cathedral, or he administers the cathedral on behalf of the bishop. And his powers are limited because he is not the diocesan. He is only acting for the diocesan, that is the bishop. So that is his powers. And when you pastor a church, of course, our Anglican way of administration is that it is episcopal in nature, synodically governed. So he is also under the leadership and administration of his bishop. So his powers depends on the administration of the diocese. I can't remember one being organized, but honestly, this is a need, and it is worth organizing such a meeting, a seminar, a workshop to harmonize and to see that all cathedral archdeacons, provosts, deans and sub-deans learn what to do, and they know what to do, and there will be uniformity in the administration. One thing that I can see in the Anglican Church we are fast losing is the interchange of pulpit and administration. In time past, you have, for example, a priest moved to another diocese for parish experience, to work there for 3 months and return. And I think that if the provosts and the deans are trained to do that, and they are moved, for instance, for parish experience, assuming you take a provost of a diocese from the north, and then he goes to work in the southwest or southeast, he learns what church life is there. Even if he's not a provost, just a priest, the experience will be huge, and it will help the church. My future plans for the church is to continue to work very hard to the glory of God. Promote unity of the church as dean of the church. Unity is very crucial, and unity of the bishops is very important. Also, I would be very happy if bishops have personal disciplines. Discipline in the sense that we ought to conduct ourselves in a manner befitting our offices, and we also hold on to the mission of the church. Today, you agree with me that we have thrown the essentials, we are following the trivial issues, but I think when we get involved in mission and evangelism, the church will grow more. Mission, evangelism, discipleship of our members. This is very crucial to me. I must confess it's very challenging, yet very interesting. To me, my family is my first church, and I hold my family in high esteem and regard for my children, my wife, and my entire family. So I look after my family very well. But also when you come to the office of priest. First, I'm not only a priest, I'm a deacon. I've been ordained a deacon. I've received the holy orders of a deacon. I have also received the holy orders of a priest. And I also have received the holy orders of a bishop. Now, in this function, I am to function as a deacon, as a priest, and as a bishop. So, when I get to parish to work, if it requires very well that I operate in the office of a deacon, I serve. When it is priesthood, I am a priest. And when it is a bishop, I do. But today we do most of the office of the bishop and leave out the others. But as a bishop, I do confirmation and I do ordination. I think in what we do, keeping your program apt and regular is what helps person to succeed. So I have schedules of work, I have time for office, I have time for confirmation, I have time for ordination, I have time for the office of a dean, a time for the office of Archbishop of an ecclesiastical province, and so on. And side by side, you have committees that are instituted by government where you are asked to chair or to be a member, and that of church. All this is a matter of one having a very good discipline and working into your programs, keeping your diary very well. But also you have to look after yourself health-wise, which is very important. Otherwise, you'll become jack of all trades, master of none. So health is very important. One check up his health regularly, and God has been so gracious, God has been so merciful. He's ever faithful God. My advice to spiritual leaders, particularly to bishops, is that we take our vows and ordination oaths very seriously, and we should keep these vows and always remember them, that we don't need to fail at all, and we should be loyal. Loyalty to God is very crucial and important to any deacon, priest, or bishop, or archbishop. Whatever position you hold, loyalty to God is very important. Then you need to be loyal also to the authority of the church. The authority of the church is placed by God. So whoever God has placed as a leader, there your loyalty is. If you study and listen to our oaths of office, you will hear a priest saying, I will be loyal to this bishop and his successors in office, and in all things that are lawful and just. So we need to be loyal to church authority. We also need to be loyal to the church itself. Loyalty to the church itself is crucial. You cannot be Anglican and declare that you are of another denomination. Certainly no. You cannot swear and take oath that you will honor and respect the teachings of the scripture and then deviate from it. You cannot take an oath that you hold on to teachings of the Book of Common Prayer and then throw it away. In all this, you have to be loyal to your own church. What makes a church is disciplined church leaders who are loyal to it. When you are loyal to the church, it makes church what it is. To the public, I think particularly to leaders in Nigeria, what has been a source of problem to leaders in this country is selfishness and lack of honesty and lack of dedication to service. Those of us who grew up immediately after independence, we saw how good administrations have been, and we have enjoyed good administration. And most people, most of our leaders, they have enjoyed free scholarship in this country, free scholarship in overseas from this government of our country. And today, they have thrown this away due to selfishness. So that is why we have the problems we are having now, because of selfishness. So we need again to go back to the basis, and leaders should remember that we are accountable to God. Everyone that is bestowed with leadership will give an account to God.